Live from the studio of his parents' basement, the Have You Seen It podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight. Sitting across me is the one and only Cash Kraus. But before we begin, if you guys could please be sure to smash that like button, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification as we drop videos here every single day. So with that said, Cash, what are we reviewing today?
Well, today we are reviewing our Thanksgiving-themed film.
Yes.
Because this is the Saturday after Thanksgiving, called The Humans. But I gotta ask, Mason, how was your Thanksgiving?
Uneventful.
Did you have a Thanksgiving?
No, we didn't.
Oh.
Me and my wife literally just stayed in our house the whole time. Didn't even make a meal. We had like chicken pot pie. We bought pumpkin pie, but we didn't hang out with anyone or do anything.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Not the answer I was intending to get, but
The honest one, though.
Okay.
That's the first time we haven't done anything for Thanksgiving.
well, then this film was probably perfect for you. Because if you wanted to relive the stress and the anxiety of having a dinner with your entire family without actually having to go to the dinner, then you can watch this film.
Humans.
You can watch The Humans.
Because that's definitely how I felt the whole time.
Okay, good. Because I felt exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Holy hell! What it's hard to even put into words. But what?
You might have to shut that fucking window. That
Those
neighbor, that little
goddamn
yappy ass
dogs.
fucking dog, dude, won't shut the fuck up.
All right, good. Should I shut it?
Go ahead. So we are talking about The Humans. This is obviously based on a one-act play initially. There we go. Dude, I hate that fucking dog, dude.
Yeah.
They leave that dog outside all day.
You should totally poison it.
And
I'm just saying.
it's like
Cut
an
it off.
it's-
Cut it out of the podcast.
Bro, it's so annoying. They leave it outside
But-
all day, and all it does is...
If that dog disappeared, then
I wouldn't feel bad.
I don't think anyone would.
No, I don't think anyone would
that
care,
much.
if we're being honest.
But yes, The Humans, like you're saying, based on a one-act play directed by Stephen Karam, who, wrote the play.
Right.
He also wrote and directed the play. He's also wrote and directed the film adaptation, which makes sense to me, get in the guy that did it a good job the first time. But yeah, a one-act play, which is interesting to me.
Well, yeah, typically a one-act play can be anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. This guy just wrote a full-blown screenplay for this.
I know.
So a lot more context than what you're going to get from that one act.
But, the movie, like I said, is a perfect snapshot of, not every Thanksgiving dinner, but a Thanksgiving dinner where everyone is kind of at their limit. And just the anxiety of being around, your parents who are just naturally judgy, but at their worst can be extremely judgy. Yeah.
But you also have the story of like Richard too, where it's like he's trying to fit into the family. It's the first time he's really met the parents.
Yeah.
So he has that built-in anxiety of like trying to be accepted from this family who, I'm sure have been told by his wife that, hey, my parents are a little judgmental. They're a little this, they're a little that,
And he's perfect as kind of the medium to be used as like the audience, as like we're him, as we're introduced. But it's one of those things where the film made me extremely anxious. It gave me anxiety just watching it. But it also it's a comfort thing of like every family has these problems. Every family, no matter who they are, rich, poor, they all have drama.
Yep.
They just deal with it in different ways. Rich people, they just hire someone to kill their problems, and we'll see that in House of Gucci.
Yes, we will.
But yeah, it was perfect as that is, and the way it's shot too is just amazing, and how it's done, it feels like you are watching a play. Like I do want to go and want to see this play, but you're immediately just dropped. These characters are just dropped into your lap. And then throughout the film, we kind of figure out who everyone is.
When I think that's what the important part of Richard's character is that it allows you to learn a lot more about this family because he's, obviously innocent in all this.
Right.
And he's kind of just asking questions about everyone. So you kind of get an idea of what the family's all about, what kind of their beef and drama is.
Yeah. Do they got drama? Just like everyone else. They got some drama.
God, yeah. I mean, Bridget was mean to her mom this whole film.
I know,
and it was so funny when Richard was like, you could be a little nicer. to your mom. She walks off, and then you see him. He's walking down the kitchen. She goes, as soon as it came out of my mouth, I knew it was a bad. He's so apologetic, and I was thinking, oh, that is fucking hilarious.
That's the thing I love too. It's because it starts out immediately, and obviously everyone's got something going on. Like Bridget's really mean to her mom, and like the dad, I mean, is is 2 steps behind. He's clearly gone somewhere else.
Well, and you know something's up with Eric right away.
And the mom is extremely mean to the dad. And you're like, and everyone else has got something else going on.
Well, then like, Amy, played by Amy.
Yeah, they're all played by people with name though.
I know.
After this,
it's so funny because Richard Jenkins, but Richard it's kind of weird. But no, Amy, she's dealing obviously with she has intestinal problems as well.
And she was just broken up with or recently.
I forget what that's called, but not Crohn's disease, but it makes you have to like shit a lot, and it's uncomfortable for those people. I forget what.
I thought it was Crohn's disease.
Was it? Is that what she had?
I'm not sure, but she has to get her intestine, a large part of her intestine removed. Yeah,
and she might have to end up like shitting out of a bag at one point.
Yeah, so everyone's got
problems.
Absolutely, but it's not such far-fetched problems that's like it's unrealistic to where it's like
very grounded.
Exactly, it's not like problems written for a drama. Like someone sleeping with like the brother sleeping with the sisters or exactly. It's not something stupid like that. It's all the problems are very grounded, but we're left to kind of figure out what their problems are throughout the film. Like they immediately have problems, but we figure out what's going on and why everyone's so sick. Like Richard, who is the dad, the leader of the family, he's got big fucking problems. He's staring out a window constantly. Says, of course, his family doesn't have depression. But it's textbook.
Come on, Eric. You're kind of looking like you got all the signs of depression, my guy.
Staring at a window somberly for most of your day is textbook depression.
Yeah, especially when you can't see
anything out the window. Yeah. But I just love how it's kind of spread out for us. We slowly learn, and at the very last scene is when you finally feel like you learned everything about everyone. But it's well done, really well shot.
That's something I want to talk about too.
Art house style for sure.
Very art house style, and also,
but not aggressively and annoyingly so.
But also the use of which is so fascinating to me. Now, and you may disagree, but the way I thought this was shot was very kind of horror-esque, where it was like no lights. They never used any lights. And obviously there were no demonic spirits or any ghosts in the house, but it shot like that real gritty horror kind of style.
Right.
So it was
the apartment.
The whole time, the whole film, my wife is sitting there being like, this is a scary movie. You're lying to me, because she hates him. She won't watch him. And I go, no, it's not.
Just
it's
her
a family drama.
It's her fear for sure, isn't it?
But the way it was shot alluded to that being kind of like that horror film, Well,
because that's the whole reason is a horror film was shot that way, to give you that eerie, gross feeling, like that. It's shot like it's suffocating you. Very claustrophobic. That's how horror films are shot as well. It's all shot in that film, and that is the intention of this film. It's not shot to make you scared. It's shot to just give you that icky feeling of, this is a cold, and dark place that we don't want to be part of. And that's the theme of the film, is this is a cold, dark place for all these people at this time. Yeah. They're all going through something that's extremely tough at this point in their life. But I agree with you. It is shot that way. But shot very art house, to where it's like some scenes, the camera, it'll be a long zoom, but it will zoom into the leg of a chair. And then you'll hear just in another room, like you're eavesdropping on these characters of them talking about something or talking about each other. It makes you feel exactly like you're in a Thanksgiving dinner.
For sure.
To where if you have a big family, or even this family like this, is like everyone's in another room talking about something else, and you just get little parts of these conversations. And then every once in a while you hear your name come up or something like that. And
so that's what I really enjoyed about this film too. The way it was shot, obviously, with the long hallway, the whole family's eating at a table, but you only get this wide perspective. So you see no face expressions. And it was almost an hour into the film, and they finally did close-ups at the table when they're breaking the pig to eat the peppermint.
Yeah.
And that's when the fact that it was shot from so far away, as if you're almost observing this family, and then you get the close-ups, added so much for me, watching the film and realizing, oh, these are people with real emotions, real problems. but the way that they shot it was really unique to me because I always felt like I was an observer up until that point.
Right, and it's such a feat to clearly they're shooting in this very small apartment, and I mean if you've ever seen behind the scenes of a set or anything, they're usually huge. You're in a warehouse. You're so spread out. Yeah. So it helps because it gives you that claustrophobic. But how they shot that, I mean, it's very unique how they did that because it feels like they do. I mean, it's all within the apartment. They're not cutting down walls or whatever to get you the shot. It's all what they have. So that long hallway, they use that a lot to zoom in. But even circling around the table and whatnot, that shot. When Richard Jenkins' character, is looking for his mom because he goes in the room and she's gone because his mom has bad dementia.
Yeah.
Which is just one of many things going on within his family. Yeah. The mom has bad dementia and he goes and she's gone and he's like searching for her, but it's all like a one long continuous shot. But you can tell the camera is moving through like a bathroom while Richard Jenkins is moving through. Like it's not a set at all. They're not moving these walls apart or anything like that. But very well done. Cinematography is fucking amazing on this one. Yeah, could not have that big of cast and crew to fit in that fucking apartment.
Even the sound design too. And the reason why I say sound design is, like the idea of the mom going upstairs. So in order to use the bathroom, you had to go upstairs.
Yeah.
The bathroom's down the hall. The mother always coming back to the stairs and then eavesdropping, but it sounded as if the sound was coming, that you could just faintly hear it the same way the mom could because of the echoing moving up front. So the sound design was really good because it puts you in the same atmosphere as the mom.
Oh, yeah.
And not, because it would have been really easy to like shoot down the whole time and get the family and then maybe a shot or two of the mom. But instead it was a perspective of the mom upstairs where we're getting this echoey, voice of what they're talking about more so than them shooting downstairs.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's like, it was perfect because that's a tough thing to do where it's like, it has to be a whisper, but it has to be enough for the audience to pick it up too. And in this one, it's like you're picking up every other word, but it's like that's how you're supposed to be because you're supposed to be up in that room with her. It's incredible sound design. It is really well done. And that's throughout the entire thing is like, I don't even know how they do it really, but two people are having conversations and then two other people are having a conversation in another room. So you're listening to this conversation, but you're also picking up on things, happening in another room. I flipped on subtitles for a second, and the subtitles were very complicated because they had to pick up immediately and then immediately go. So it was like coming left and right. There was like four people talking at once, but great job of doing that too. I wonder if they shot it practically like, okay, go up in that room, have this conversation, and we'll just try to pick you up on the speaker or whatever.
And this doesn't even need to be said, but I'm going to say it anyway. The casting for this is great because every single conversation in this was so natural, and obviously we know this. These are vets of the game. They're all great actors, but
this is something they're talking over each other at times and interrupting each other. It felt so fucking real and non-scripted at all.
Same way like the Florida Project had the kids, when they were walking down and it was just casual conversation amongst kids. That's how I felt here with the dinner table. Not every single scene or conversation.
I can't believe these were, there's no way they were written. Because there are other people are having such one-off crazy conversations and whatnot. And everyone's constantly doing something too. Where it's like someone's having a conversation and then Richard Jenkins in the background is like coming up and hugging his daughter or whatever, and they're having a conversation. It's wild. And the conversation between Richard and Stephen Yeun's character, it's like they're interrupting each other. It's going back and forth. It's amazing. These are all really good like character actors at this point, but yeah, the dialogue is so believable. It's exactly like being with your family because people are interrupting constantly. You can't get a word out most of the time, but it's really well done.
It is. And too, there's a lot of like really, as much as like, I don't want to use the word despair, but there's a lot of like kind of depressing, sad overtone that you have with this film. But there were moments of happiness, especially with the character Momo, which as we talked about has
grandma
has severe dementia. you know, they're giving grace at the table, and she's able to recite the entire grace, and they go, "Oh my gosh!" They're all excited, and they're like, "Would it be crazy for us to do that again?"
Yeah.
And they do it again, and she's able to recite the prayer because that's something that's deeply embedded into Momo's brain.
Yeah.
So they got to have a good moment with someone who she's not there, you know, ever. But they got to have that on a special day like Thanksgiving with the family, even if it was for those couple seconds. And that was something that, you know, again, I really enjoyed because it's those little moments when you're with family, because, you know, you can fight or do all this, but that's when those moments are made.
Yeah, and
special
what
moments.
felt so organic about it is like, if someone could say something really mean to someone in this movie, and if anyone else said it in like any other movie, you know, it'd be like, well, I'm never talking to that person again. And like, even if it's like a love story or whatever, and the entire movie is like surrounded by these people loving each other, and then like a character says something mean, and then they're like, fuck, it's over. In this movie, it's like, it's okay. I mean, it's mean, but it's your family. If anyone else had been saying it, it would be offensive. But there's some very mean things said in this film. But the next scene, you know, they're like hugging each other, they're joking about it or whatever. It's exactly what happens in like my family too. I mean, it's the same thing. It's like, well, if a stranger had said that, you know, you'd be like, oh, I gotta fight this guy. But like when your family's saying it, yeah, they're the ones that can be even more judgmental and mean to you, and you kind of shake it off because you can give it right back to them. But that's what I mean. There's some horrible things said in this film.
Really bad things, like mean.
Yeah.
Like even like talking about the mom's Weight Watchers and how she's not doing a good job, and well, maybe you shouldn't have a gallon of ranch with your dinner, and it's like, geez, take it easy on mom.
The mom who is the only one who plays her role from the play as well.
Really?
Oh yeah, she's a Tony winning Jayne Houdyshell. She plays Deandra Blake. She also played the mom in the play, but
that's
she
pretty awesome.
Yeah, but she is so good in this, man. She is shit on like all moms are. Yeah. I mean, they're really fucking hard, especially with like the emails they send, and they're all
and just making fun of her
behind her
it's
back. Like, that scene when it's right after they ate and she's the only one at the table, and the camera, because they're about to get dessert ready, and the camera, the slowest zoom of all time. I mean, it's fucking snail's pace. But it's zooming into her, and eventually she just breaks down, like starts crying, but she like sucks it back up, you know, because, you know, moms are got to be always the strongest one in the family. But she immediately just like sucks it back up, and we don't know at that point what's really going on with her. You know, the Weight Watchers thing we know, and when she heard about the emails. But then right after that, we learned that fucking Richard Jenkins,
Eric, cheated on his wife
and
at school, and might not get his pension because of it, because he signed a morality clause with his work because it's a private school.
And that gives all the reason for the entire 1 hour and 30 minutes you've watched of like why she's been like so off and on, like a roller coaster. 1 minute she's happy, then the next minute she's breaking down, but when that hits you, oh my God. And he offers her to the dessert, and he's like, just give her the one with icing. That's the one she always takes. And she's like barely holding it together. Yeah. It's brutal, dude.
Super brutal. It's brutal. And that was like alluded to early on, because remember, she was like, before you get drunk, like you need to tell him before dinner.
Yeah.
And we think that's just,
at first I think she's just being a kind of a bitch.
Right. And like you think it's probably just something like minor, like, oh, we're moving or something like that, you know?
Yeah, because the whole time you get money issue vibes from me for sure. Cause like,
because Amy alluded to that, oh, well, you guys aren't helping me out with this apartment. Or not Amy, but Bridget.
Yeah. Well, the whole story starts out was usually they have Thanksgiving at the mom and dad's house.
Scranton.
This year they're having, Scranton.
Shout
out to the office. But this year they're having it in their daughter's brand new apartment. Doesn't have any furniture. It's in Chinatown, Manhattan. So you can imagine, pretty run down. I mean, probably cost $8,000 a month for that fucking apartment.
Easily, if not more.
It is actually if it was like put together, it's a cool apartment for sure. Yeah. But it's disgusting. But so they're having it there. So immediately you don't know why they're talking about this lake house. You can tell every time they talk about it, Richard Jenkins' character is like kind of brushing it off. Because it's brutal too. They're like, well, once you guys get the lake house, you'll be able to relax, and you'll be able to, and every time you could see it in his eyes. He's like, oh, it ain't happening.
I don't want to tell you guys yet.
So you find out, like you said, he ended up, what did he ended up being the equipment manager or something for like a private school or something like that. And the only reason he ever worked there really was because wanted to provide for his family, and you get free tuition for your kids, you know, which is a classic story. But yeah, so he cheated on his wife with one of the teachers, and the school fired him for it. Assault in the wound.
And he's not going to get his pension either.
Yeah, and of course, you know, like any like middle class, they're religious, so they went to a priest, and he's like, "Hey, he can't get a divorce." He's like, no,
"Sorry." I mean, sucks to be you.
It's just crazy, and that's all dumped on you in like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and it's wild, and like
when even the kids are shocked.
Exactly, and you're as an audience now, you're in the position as these kids.
When even and I loved how they shot that too. Because Richard Jenkins, Eric, was not out. Well, he was not in the shot, and it's the wall blocking them off. And you just see the shot of Bridget and Amy. And then he asks, well, are you guys okay?
They're like,
we don't even know how to answer that. You know? Like, what
and as adults, of course, you're like, you know, you're not going to take it like you would as a kid. As a kid, it would destroy you, shatter you. But still, it'd be like, I don't know, almost totally change your opinion about your dad. I mean, like, it's a wild thing. And of course he has, Richard Jenkins' character ends up having a breakdown.
Oh, you could say that.
As well. It's
a meltdown.
It's wild, man. But it's just like, all of it's just like, I don't know. It's relatable. It's a tough time.
One scene too, that was really powerful. It was so subtle, but really powerful. And that's when Eric, Richard Jenkins' character, you know, obviously they're like, oh, well, I'll call it Amy, which is played by Amy.
Amy Schumer, yes.
Yeah. Was like, well, don't worry about it. I'm getting fired anyway. I'll use my company money to
this is the very
call a
end,
taxi.
yes.
And the mom is like, yeah, well, thank you. She looks at Richard Jenkins, you know, Eric, and goes, well, are you going to thank your daughter, or are you too drunk? Are you too drunk?
She says it twice, too.
Are you too drunk to thank your daughter?
Oh, my God, yeah. It's like a gut shot.
He doesn't say anything. Well, and I was like, oh, that amount of, like, humiliation and... I felt that. I was like,
the dread. I mean, just having the feeling of having to tell someone really bad news, and just putting it off. Because the entire movie, she starts out with, just don't wait till dinner is over to tell him. Yeah. So the entire movie, she's hounding him to tell him about this. Yeah. So immediately that puts pressure on you as the audience and as this guy. So you're waiting and waiting, and then when he does tell him, it's like you said, there's a lot of like lingering shots. We'll focus on like the end of a table, and then two people will be having conversation like in the background or something. But how that was shot of when he told him the news, it's like, yeah, you're seeing it from an outsider, almost Stephen Yeun's, who Stephen Yeun is just like bouncing in and out of. He never stops moving, and he just.
Can you grab the napkins, or do you want me to go up there?
He's got no idea what's really going on.
No, of course not. It's kind of in the dark with that kind of stuff. A lot of what's happening.
And of course, you wouldn't even want to tell him. Of course, you'd scare this guy away. But it's wild. It's classic family drama, written perfectly. But the end scene of, because the entire time, Richard Jenkins, Eric's character, he's talking about how he's been having really bad dreams. The stress is getting to him. The
no-face woman, too.
Yeah. And they're, of course, like shitting on him for, of course, like any family would. Yeah. So they kind of set up this like breakdown coming or whatever. And he has just like a straight up panic attack at the end. It just everything gets
because all the lights go out, and that was a common theme throughout this film too. Again,
it's the shittiest apartment ever. Don't forget that. Yeah,
right. And I feel like they were alluding to horror elements, and that's what I go back to. It was not a horror film; it was clearly a drama film. But it almost felt like the house was responding to the way, in some weird artistic way. The house was responding to kind of like what the family was going through and what was going on.
Like the state of this house is exactly the state of every character in this family.
Mm-hmm. It is, because
it's a little run down.
Yeah.
It's not in its best.
But even when all the family leaves and you have Richard Jenkins, Eric in the house, the lights go off entirely as if like that's where he's at in life.
Yeah.
And it's like he's a wanderer. He doesn't know where he's at.
Yeah, there's nothing
He doesn't know what he's
on.
doing, you know, and that's why he's staring out of the window a lot. And that was what I picked up on it. And then obviously turning on the lantern, having those panic attacks, looking through the mirror. In that window scene, when he pulls up the lantern and freaks out, I went back and I paused it and I was like, what is he looking at? Is there like a ghost or something that I couldn't see? Nothing there.
Oh, yeah.
He's just having a full-blown just panic attack.
Yeah, it's just a classic indicator of like stress and whatnot. Because throughout the entire movie, any bump or anything that goes out, he is like, he's on the edge of his seat. He's clearly extremely stressed out. But and then it all builds up to that final scene. You put it perfectly. It's like that's was exactly what he was. It's like there's no more lights going. There's no more lights in the house. This house is cold and empty like he is. He's cold and empty at this point. He's working at fucking Walmart after working at a school for 30 years, no pension or anything. But the best part was like that lantern, that safety box or whatever, is they always had, no matter how bad things got, they always had some place to come back to, and that was the family. So no matter what, how things got shitty, they always, everything was going bad. Amy was fucking broke up. She also had to have surgery. Steve Nguyen's character, he was the only one that was kind of looking good. 5 years, he was getting a big
grandparent settlement or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
When he was 40.
But yeah, Bridget had the music thing. She was turned down by 5 different schools.
But yeah, gotta be honest, Bridget. I thought the music sounded pretty good.
Was incredible.
Yeah.
That music, that scene I'll go to was like it. That music was perfect because that music felt like the embodiment of anxiousness, of anxiety. It gave me anxiety hearing that piece because it was super interesting. But then the family was like, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah.
But that's what happens when other people got other things going on, is they're not even listening to you, But yeah, I liked, because at the very end, when everything was dark and empty, Bridget came back in and was like, hey.
I love that shot, too. When he's at the table with the lantern, and it's slowly pulling back to all 4, squares. Kind of like how it is in theater,
Yeah, because I looked it up, and that's how it is in the play. It's dollhouse style, which I didn't know that. It's
dollhouse style is awesome.
It's very cool, and something that you can't, except Wes Anderson does it a lot.
Yeah, of course he does. Yes.
But no one else can do it. No. But they don't, and they don't do the dollhouse style here, because I don't think it would work as well. But at the very end, they kind of give a little bit credit, and it does show all 4. And I love that it was like the one light was, coming from his daughter or whatever. That was like, hey, I'll take the car with you and then get the train back or whatever. It wasn't super poetic or whatever. It was just sentimental, and it was all he needed at that moment, was someone to come back up and help him out, because
you're struggling a bit.
He's struggling.
Yeah, you could say that.
Got a feeling that guy might have a heart attack anytime now. Yeah,
probably. He's probably dead.
He's high cursor for a heart attack.
Probably didn't survive the night.
Yeah, for sure. In that apartment, that fucking lady doing clogging or something.
I don't know.
I would have shut
Dancing
that
up there?
shit down.
Yeah, I would have went up there. I don't care if you're 70. Shut that shit off.
She's moving furniture around. That was unbelievable. She's like bowling alley.
It was.
But I had really high hopes that I was really going to like this film, and it's A24, so.
Yeah, which we haven't even brought up. But, I mean, A24, again, knocks it out of the park. It's a really, really simple drama, but very effective in what it set out to do.
A great Thanksgiving film. Mm-hmm. I mean, one of the best. It's this and Trains, Planes, and Automobiles, I would say.
Which we also reviewed on this podcast.
Which I love, too. But yeah, I think I'll probably put this one, even though it's very sad, it was always it was uplifting in a way, too. Because there was never, whenever there's a real sad moment, there was something there to bring you back up. So I think it was worth it, yeah. Oh,
absolutely. I really enjoyed this film.
Streaming on Showtime, just odd. It's like these things are getting harder and harder to find.
It's so wild.
So many streaming services.
We were going to go see this in theaters on Thanksgiving. Couldn't find it, so I guess we're not going to review it. Randomly last night, I'm going through Showtime because Prime Video had that.
I could have sworn when we were talking about it, we did say it was going to be streaming on something, but Showtime.
Yeah, Showtime. But nonetheless, we found it, and I was like, dude, do you want to review it? You're like, yeah, let's do it. Because you were able to watch it last night.
This is Showtime's big get.
It is. It is this year.
Yeah, this is going to be their, I don't know. It is a smaller film, but I could see it maybe being
an Oscar nod
for Best Adapted.
Yeah.
From play to screen, I think so. Yeah, best for screenplay for sure. The screenplay is so good.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
But so I check it out. The Humans.
The Humans.
I love the title too.
Yeah, Simple to the point.
Absolutely.
A24 film. Alrighty, well, that is our review for The Humans. If you guys like what you've seen here, please be sure to smash that like button, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification as we drop videos here every single day. Thank you so much for watching and listening. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Kraus, and until next time.
Bye.